relocating it altogether. Like many point to the palace's bad feng shui with its back to a flowing river. Tragedy has befallen almost all who've stayed in the palace and the generations of Filipinos who were ruled from there under various regimes. There's also the horrendous traffic it causes. Mendiola and the San Miguel district make for complicated routing of vehicles, both the public's and the president's. The presence of the palace on the river also makes it difficult for waterborne passenger traffic to increase. The current Pasig commuter boats have to get permission from the PSG every time they pass by. The presence of the palace also prevents taller buildings from sprouting in adjacent districts, well short of their real estate potential. This is because of the need to prevent more vantage points for snipers aiming to get into the history books. Malacañang is not an easy site to harden security-wise, and this isn't even pointing out the dangers of the fuel depot just blocks away. Now, with all these, there is no compelling reason for any future president to stay in such a jinxed place. Many believe Malacañang Palace would make a better museum than an official residence. This would bring in tourism, revitalize the San Miguel district, and bring in more investment to central Manila. The Arlegui and Goldenberg mansions would make great boutique hotels, while the Malacañang Park should be preserved and open to public access, a boon to a city in dire need of parks. So where should Pinoy hang his hat? The long-term solution is to achieve what countless master plans for the capital have failed to do. Build a center of government that brings the three branches of government in efficient proximity to each other. See how well it works for DC? In contrast, the dysfunction of our national government is reflected in the disjointed physical reality of a chief executive by the Pasig River, the Supreme Court bunkered in Padre Faura, the Senate by the sea in Pasay, and Congress in the boondocks of Quezon City. The physical separation of national government offices all over the metropolis makes the cost of running government extremely expensive, with endless and wasteful duplication of support functions and plantillas. Symbolic, much less functional unity is nowhere in sight. I dare say a change in the president's address may just be the change needed to turn this country around. Now, Pinoy may end up staying in Time Streets. It is his choice, but it's high time government considers building itself a proper house where the permanent residents are transparency, honesty, and justice. And one last thing, when and if we do get a new permanent residence for our highest elected official, let's call it a house. A palace is for kings and queens, the very ones responsible for the royal mess we're in. When we return, we'll be talking to a real expert, much more qualified than me, on the changes made and contemplated for Malacañang over the years.